Meteorologist Don Guthrie with the WKBN 27 First News Forecast.
Mother Nature decided the bitterly cold temperatures weren't enough. Now she's going to throw a little accumulating snow our direction. A little bit more organized up there in western Michigan than it is here. That will also take care of itself a little bit later on. Looks like maybe a couple of inches on the ground by daybreak, a little more, a little less depending on where you live. But the snow gets heavier overnight, and early tomorrow morning it looks like it will be at its heaviest intensity, gradually tapering off by tomorrow afternoon. Gets kind of quiet tomorrow night, and yet another Alberta Clipper system heads this direction by Sunday afternoon with, you guessed it, more snow. 8 o'clock tonight, the temperatures out there now won't fall a whole lot more from where they are, 11, 12, and then gradually rising as we head into the early morning and afternoon hours tomorrow. Snow starts to make its way our direction by a little bit later on this evening, 11 o'clock. Then we'll fast forward to 3 a.m. The darker the blue, the heavier the snowfall. That's pretty much the story at 6 tomorrow morning as well. If you do a morning commute, it would be wise to allow a little bit of extra time. Noon tomorrow, upper teens, and by late tomorrow afternoon, we're still in those upper teens, and pretty much the same for highs on Sunday, and that is as warm as it gets well into next week. Things begin to taper off a little bit late tomorrow night, lighter shades of blue. Don't forget Ryan Halicki will be here at 6:11 tomorrow night to let you know what happens for the rest of the weekend. And neighborhood temperatures, again, will fall only a couple more degrees from where they are now, and then stabilize and gradually make their way into the upper teens to near 20 by tomorrow afternoon. Some actual air temperatures for most of northern Ohio, western Pennsylvania. A lot of temps in the teens at this hour. Factor in the wind, feels like 10 below in Mansfield, 10 below up in Detroit as well. Bradford also at a -10. Those temperatures will continue to fall as the wind gradually picks up, and that's what it's doing out there right now. These aren't gusts. These are actual sustained winds, 30 miles an hour in Mansfield, 28 in Marion, 33 up in Detroit at this hour. Out of the south, when the cold front comes through, those winds will become more westerly as we head into tomorrow. 12, the official high up at the airport today. 13 was my guaranteed high, and it dipped to 3 below for the early morning low. Not near a record. That was 18 below back in 1963. And it's 12 with humidity at 52%, pressure steady, and a wind chill of 5 below. Not much more than a quarter of an inch up at the airport. Most areas just a dusting for the day since midnight. And we will kind of stabilize right around 11 degrees for the next several hours. Snow moves in, as you've already seen, a little bit later on this evening. Call it around 2 inches by daybreak, maybe a bit more or a bit less, depending on where the heaviest accumulations and sustained snowfall occurs. Feels like 5 to 10 below by daybreak. Pretty much the same for tomorrow, high of 20, but an additional 2 to 4 inches by mid to late afternoon. Things taper off tomorrow night, especially early on, but the wind chills drop to 15 to 25 below actual temp, -2 by daybreak on Sunday. Another round of snow by Sunday afternoon, maybe spilling over into Monday, but look at these temperatures next week. 10 below by Tuesday morning, 14 below by Wednesday morning, and maybe this all begins to break as we head into the end of next week and Super Bowl weekend.